Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So my channel recently reached another milestone, reaching 400 subscribers, as you can see right here. So I'm very excited about that. So I'm going to go ahead and read some of your comments in order to commemorate that achievement. And I will respond to each of the comments. And I will put a link to each of the channels who commented in the description of this video. So if you want to go to their channel and check out what they create, I'm sure they'd appreciate it if you stop by and take a look at what they do. And if you like what you see there, go ahead and subscribe to their channels as well. I'm sure they'd appreciate your support. So let's go ahead and get into the first comment. Okay, this first comment was about my review of the Luke Skywalker X-Wing fighter, and it comes from EliteActionJoe Studios. He says, "We love the 3 3/4-inch ships. That is the downfall of 12-inch figures. No good ships or planes to dogfight with. We always enjoy that you keep the paperwork with many of your items. Cool video." Thank you so much. And yeah, that is one of the downsides of being sort of a collector of 12-inch GI Joe is that yeah, there's some Jeeps, maybe even a Humvee, but when you start to get bigger and bigger vehicles, they just take up way too much room, and they're very expensive usually as well. So it's kind of tough. So yeah, in terms of like a complete toy line, I'm kind of more inclined to lean towards the 3 3/4-inch scale. Although I got to say, back in the day when Adventure Team GI Joe was around, there were lots of vehicles and stuff like that, and play sets like the headquarters and so forth. That you could kind of interact with. We all kind of know what happened. There was an energy crisis. The cost of plastics became real expensive. And then, of course, Star Wars came along, and the merchandising for that was geared around a much smaller scale. So yeah, things changed quite a bit, come, the late 1970s, early 80s. So, but yeah, I would love to have more 12-inch scale vehicles in my collection. It's just very difficult to sort of accumulate them because they take up so much room. So, but these are great, and I really enjoy having a bunch of these action figure vehicles from the Power of the Force line. I think they're really great. They're very detailed, and some of the electronic features are pretty cool as well. So once again, thank you for the comment. I really appreciate it. Okay, so this next comment was made about my video where I did a trip to Dollar Tree and was going on a toy hunt for this Final Faction stuff. And if you watch the video, you know that I was able to pick up a lot of stuff from that particular toy line. And so the Skull Reviews left a comment, said, "I hit up Dollar Tree every once in a while myself. I found some fun stuff there. I got 1/6 scale garbage cans. Sometimes you can find 1/6 scale rubber snakes and such. But that is a very cool toy line, and you can't beat the price." Yes, definitely. Because these, were only $1 each, or I guess $1.25 now. The price has gone up at Dollar Tree now, so everything's $1.25. But still, in terms of what you're getting for that price, it's pretty amazing stuff. And it should be noted that I've returned to Dollar Tree a few other times, and I was able to find even more Final Faction stuff. For instance, I found this Amari figure recently. So this is from one of the more recent waves. So they're continuing to put out more of these Final Faction action figures. So, and eventually I will do either a very long video or several videos where I do a review of a bunch of this stuff. My guess is it'll probably take like 3 videos to cover this entire toy line, just because there is so much stuff to actually talk about. So those videos will be coming soon, so stay tuned to my channel for that. And once again, the TheSkullReviews, thank you so much for leaving a comment. I really appreciate it. All right, so this next comment comes on my customization video about the Secret of the Mummy's Tomb. And MB Action wrote in and said, "Why can't they make Indiana Jones figures this good quality? Very cool toy." It's interesting that you say that because Hasbro actually did some 12-inch figures for Indiana Jones, and I believe they came out in 2008 or around that time period. I can't speak to necessarily the quality of them, but I know in terms of the action figure itself, I'm almost positive that they used this GI Joe body as the basis for the actual figures. So it's something you might want to look into if you're looking to collect some Indiana Jones stuff. I don't know how expensive those are. I've seen random appearances of them on eBay, so they might be kind of expensive. But if it is something that you're interested in, a 12-inch version of Indiana Jones done in this kind of style, That might be something that you might want to look into. Anyway, I really appreciate your comment, and thank you so much for checking out my videos. All right, so this next comment was made about my video reviewing the Evil Twin and Pass and Gasser Hot Wheels cars. And the 435 movie show featuring the G.I. Joe action team wrote in and said, "Nice. Makes me reminisce about my past collection in the 1970s Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars. Oh, the number of cars that got demolished in smash-up derbies and bent axle syndrome. Awesome videos." Yeah, I remember those times very well. Basically, I had a bunch of cars that sort of got beat up on all the time. And so you constantly had to sort of, fix broken parts or maybe even repaint certain parts that got worn down. And collecting these new Hot Wheels reminds me very much of, the sort of joy that I had in collecting those cars and playing with those cars when I was a kid. And the cool thing about these brand new Hot Wheels is the quality on them is very good. The paint details and everything and the sculpting is really excellent. And it's very economical to do as well. These cars are usually only $1 a piece. So, you can amass a pretty decent collection of Hot Wheels cars without having to spend a fortune. So it's actually very nice. Once again, thank you so much for commenting. And stay tuned for more Hot Wheels stuff. Okay, so this next comment was left about my review of Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. Uncle Matt's Workbench said, "Love the ship. I don't currently have one, but I got my eye out for it." And it's tough to obtain some of these ships. And like I mentioned in several of my videos, Hasbro doesn't really seem to be producing a lot of action figure vehicles anymore. They pretty much focus on just figures lately, even in 3 3/4 inch scale. So every once in a while you get a vehicle, but not anywhere near the kind of stuff that they used to produce. So in order to obtain vehicles, you often have to go to eBay and find older ones that were done for previous toy lines. So I like this one. Basically, the redesign of the vehicle makes it much more movie accurate. Very excited to have this. And you may want to check into local flea markets or even garage sales to see if you can find these. They might not be in the best condition, but that would be a way to sort of obtain, some of these vehicles and not have to pay, a fortune. Anyway, I really appreciate you leaving a comment, and stay tuned to my channel for more reviews of action figure vehicles in the future. Thanks again. All right, so this next comment was left on my video about the 14-inch Mego Batman figure. And T.A.R. Productions wrote in and said, "Great review. I'm interested in seeing your 14-inch comparison with the Mego upgraded body as well as your custom." When I do a review of some of the newer ones, I will do a side-by-side comparison with this because I know there's some differences. I don't know if it's necessarily an upgrade in terms of articulation, because I've been looking at the newer ones that I bought, and it doesn't really look like they have that much more flexibility, but we'll see. Those videos are coming soon. I have the Frankenstein, the Creature from the Black Lagoon, and also the Star Trek Gorn. So I have 3 brand new Mego figures that are done in the 14-inch scale. And I will be able to compare them with this one, which is the older style. So hopefully that'll answer your question. And in terms of, customizing this and turning it into a 12-inch action figure, if I do that, I will document the process. I don't know for sure if it's actually going to work out, just because the costume is much larger than is made for a 12-inch figure. So I'm not actually sure if it's actually going to fit on a 12-inch figure and look correct. But I'm going to tinker around with it and see if it's something that I can accomplish. So stay tuned. Once again, thank you so much for the comment. I really appreciate it. All right, so this next comment is about my review of the Invisible Man and Mole People action figures made by Mego. And the comment comes from PopBlocks4583. "It's good to see that companies are still producing figures like this. Great review. It's a shame they don't come in 12-inch for monsters for the G.I. Joes. It would be funny if they just gave you an empty box for the Invisible Man." Yeah, that would be funny, although I don't think I would pay for that. Empty boxes are not really something I want to purchase. In terms of the 12-inch, I don't think Mego was able to obtain licensing to do 12-inch figures, which is why we ended up getting the 14-inch ones instead. But the nice thing is, for certain characters, 14 inches actually works well for G.I. Joe, like the Frankenstein figure, which I recently bought, which is 14 inches tall. That would make him around 7 feet tall as opposed to a 6 foot tall G.I. Joe. So to me, that actually makes sense in terms of the scale. So the Frankenstein figure works perfectly, whereas other monster figures, not so much. I mean, you don't want to necessarily have a 7 foot tall Dracula figure as an adversary for G.I. Joe. So yeah, I've been selective about which ones of them that I'm actually picking up, because some of them work in terms of the scale and some of them just don't. So yeah, it's a little unfortunate that Mego doesn't have the licensing to do the 12-inch scale Universal Monsters at this point. But maybe at some point they'll obtain that and we will get 12-inch scale ones. I don't know. But in terms of the 8-inch scale stuff, I love it. I think it's fantastic. And it very much is in keeping with the sort of quintessential nostalgic look of Mego action figures from the 1970s. So that's a lot of fun. Once again, thank you so much for the comment, and stay tuned to the channel for more reviews of Mego figures. Thanks again. Okay, so this next comment comes about my review of the Blade Runner comic book, the 2 issues. And the comment comes from Kato's World. He says, awesome Blade Runner comics, nice breakdown, cool story and comparison, great in-depth review, bro. Good job on this vid. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I got to tell you, making the video for this was a lot more of a challenge than it actually appeared. I actually ended up having to redo the entire video at some point because when I initially posted it, I was using very short video clips from the actual movie. I actually got a copyright claim from Warner Brothers about they claimed that I was using the movie. So I ended up having to just redo the entire video and just use still images instead of the actual movie clips. So just be warned, if you guys are using video clips from any movies or anything like that, even short clips, with no volume on them, can end up getting a copyright claim. So, just a word of caution on that. But I ended up redoing the video. It took a lot of time to, redo the whole thing, but it turned out good in the end. I sort of preferred the earlier version that had the video clips instead. But again, I don't want to risk having the video taken down completely by Warner Brothers. You don't want to mess with a big studio like that. So, but in the end, I reposted the video with the still images and no copyright claim. So everything was good, and I was able to get my comic book review out and also do the comparison, because that was the main thing I wanted to accomplish with that video, was to do the comparison between the way it looked in the comic book versus how it looks in the movie. So I think that was an important element of that video. So I didn't want to compromise in terms of how that was presented. So once again, thank you, Kato's World, for leaving a comment, and stay tuned for more comic book reviews in the future. Thanks. Okay, so this next comment was made about my video about my first year on YouTube, the part 2. And CajunToyReview wrote in and said, this was very insightful and helpful, truly great information. Thank you very much. I put quite a bit of effort into those 2 videos to try and help my fellow YouTubers that are out there. I'm not, vastly knowledgeable about YouTube. I've only been on it for like a year, but I feel like I've learned a lot in terms of, things to try out. So I just thought it would be a good idea to sort of share what I knew and, put that information out there for anyone who's interested. So, and I very much appreciate the fact that several people watched those videos and got something out of it. So thank you so much, CajunToyReview, for the comment. I really appreciate it. And stay tuned for more content on my channel. Okay, so this next comment was left for my video about the 40th anniversary G.I. Joes that I customized. And this comment was left by G.I. Joe, The Lost Chronicles. He said, love the Arctic Adventure. I actually have this one. Great detail and all the equipment. Yeah, this figure is sort of assembled, from various sources, sort of doing bits and pieces. That's sort of my process for assembling custom G.I. Joes is, you find what you need where you need it. And, if you need to modify certain things to make them work for the figure, you do what you have to do to make it work. So not a purist in terms of, what toy companies I use their equipment from. And so for me, if it looks the part and it serves its purpose, then it doesn't really matter which action figure company made it. So, and this is definitely one of my favorites of the 40th anniversary action figures that I've assembled. So thank you so much for checking out the video. And I love your channel, G.I. Joe, The Lost Chronicles. Really fantastic content on there. So I really appreciate the fact that you're continuing to watch my videos and keep leaving those comments. Thank you again. All right, so this next comment comes from Slim Comics and More. He says, nice Hot Wheels, great looking models. Thanks for stopping in the chats today. Sub to you, buddy. Enjoy your week. Thank you so much. And I do enjoy your live streams. For those of you who don't know, Slim Comics and More does live streams, I believe, every week, where he collaborates with a bunch of other collectors, and they each show various collectibles, including comic books, sports cards, sometimes die-cast metal cars, lots of different things. So a very cool experience communicating with these other collectors in the chat and the live stream. And very much appreciate Slim Comics and More for hosting those live streams. They're a lot of fun. And thank you so much for subscribing to my channel and leaving a comment. I really appreciate it. Thanks again. All right, so this next comment was left on my short video where I took my land adventure out into this wooded area and shot sort of an interesting little kind of fictional piece out on location, with the snow and the woods and everything. It's kind of a fun little thing using sound effects and music to sort of make a dramatic scene. And Skunkworks G.I. Joe Customs wrote in and said, the terrifying thing is that there's still snow on the ground. Yes, this is April when I shot this, and here in this area, I live in Buffalo, New York. And yes, we still continue to get snow well into April usually, and it usually doesn't stop completely until the 1st of May. So yeah, but the cool thing is because there was snow still on the ground, I was able to get out there and actually shoot 2 videos with my G.I. Joes and make 2 little short kind of fictional pieces, and trying to take advantage of that opportunity. I ended up with very muddy shoes walking around out there on the snowy ground, but definitely worth it. Those videos turned out great, and I was very happy with the response. The G.I. Joe collectors who follow my channel really seem to enjoy those videos, so very excited to put them out there and try something a little bit different on my channel. Thank you so much, Skunkworks, for commenting. I really appreciate that, and stay tuned for more G.I. Joe content in the future. Thanks again. Okay, so this last comment comes from Room Diecast, who made a comment about my review of the A-Wing fighter. He said, that's a great A-Wing fighter, Logic. This version, I think, was one of the best ones they make. Very cool review, my friend. Thank you very much. I really appreciate the feedback. And yeah, this one turned out pretty good. And the nice thing is I had good subject matter to work with. Basically, any of these really well done Power of the Force action figure vehicles are very fun and easy to review. And I have quite a few of them. So it's just kind of a joy to sort of revisit these older toys and sort of re-explore, the kind of features that exist on them and all the detail and everything. So thank you so much for commenting, Room Diecast. I checked out your channel. Your stuff is all about Hot Wheels and Matchbox and other diecast metal cars. Fantastic stuff. I really appreciate what you're doing with your channel. So keep doing what you're doing. And thanks again for the comment. That's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And once again, I want to thank all the people who have subscribed so far to my channel, 400 plus people now. And so I couldn't do what I do without all of your support. So I really appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed and you're interested in seeing some of the stuff that I talk about on my channel, think about clicking that subscribe button, because there's a lot more of this kind of stuff coming in the future. Until next time, I hope you're having a great day, and thanks for watching.